right, let's call our meeting to order. This is the Historic Preservation Commission regular meeting for Monday, April 13th. And let the roll show that all commissioners are present. Next, we will have an approval of our meeting agenda. If I entertain a motion or any changes to the agenda. We can do that since this is a regular meeting.
I move we accept the agenda as written.
I second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item will be approval of the meeting minutes for April and May. So if we need a few minutes to look them over, or if you've had a chance to look them over already, I've got a couple of edits that will need to be made. So I can start with mine, and then if anybody sees
no,
anything
go
else in
ahead.
the meantime. All right, so this would be for the April, on the second page, the first paragraph. So wizard is actually W-I-S-A-A-R-D. And I don't know what all those letters stand for, but
Okay.
it's an online search tool that the state uses. So we'll correct the two places that that's used. And then under F for 100-year recognition update, I discuss there were 10 residents and roughly 4 businesses identified that qualify, so we can strike the May because they're 100 years old, they qualify.
Perfect.
Oh, it could also clarify that the 10 residents and 4 business districts were in the National Register Historic District. So we're not talking about citywide, because there might be other properties outside the historic district that could qualify. So I just, if someone's looking at these and thinking that, well, that's it. It's- So any other things noted in April? I've got a couple for May as well. And under discussion item 4, second sentence, Commissioner Major discuss issuing, and let's strike RFP, because what recommended was a request estimate for what a consultant would take to do the survey. So an RFP is something that we would put out when we get the grant and we are searching for a consultant. So this would be an RFP, so a request for estimate to several, and we could strike local. So several consulting firms to create the survey, because one of the firms that I reached out to was not local. And then under 5,
Can we, on 4,
okay, 4,
Frederick, it should be, have a K on the end, F-R-E-D-E-R-I-C-K.
Frederick Avenue.
Mm.
Then item 5, Commissioner Oaks encouraged property owner to submit nominations. So
Right.
we did nominate that address during our meeting. And then just again, I don't know if semantics is the right term, but under E, 100-year recognition decal mailer, Commissioner Oaks approved that, the Century Home decals. Be mailed to all 14 Century Home properties. Any other things you're seeing? Do we need to probably approve both separately? Can we do both months together in a
Do
nomination?
both months together. I'll make note of those and then we'll go ahead and change those. I can send them over to you to verify the changes if you'd like.
It's not necessary, I
Okay.
trust that you'll make those changes, and they are minor to the intent.
Right, and under 6, commissioner comments is Frederick again. Needs a K on the end. It's like the 4th line down. Additional historic properties along East Frederick Avenue.
Same spelling. Okay.
Yeah, Frederick.
If hearing no other changes, to entertain a motion to approve both April and May meeting minutes as
Amended. I motion to approve the April and May amended minutes.
Second.
Second.
Oh, got a second, all in favor,
Aye.
approved, hearing none. They're approved, thank you. So for action items, just start off with our CPG grant proposal. So at our last meeting, we decided to again go with the proposed guidelines of A, which would be south and west of the current historic district, as well as Frederick Avenue, including City Hall, the City Park, and the Water Tower. That will be between 900 and 100, 90 to 100 properties. We received an estimate from AHA Consulting, so Ann Charlie of AHA, which
Exclamation point.
is exclamation point, which is included in the packet. So she does list that the grant for at least her consulting would be between $14,000 and $15,000 to do 90 to 100 properties. She does list a couple of options though. One would be greater than reconnaissance level, but less than intensive survey, and describes what that would include, taking pictures, doing a kind of a quick dates of the property, visual. Another option for the same amount would be probably a less than reconnaissance level, in which she could look at more properties, like all the properties in the city of Millwood outside the district, but there would be no really information. It would just, for the 600 to 700 properties, be very superficial. So with this estimate, I reached out to Michelle at the CLG program and asked her what they're looking at to fund with the grants. And she said definitely reconnaissance, or the more information, the fewer properties with the more information is what they would fund, what they recommend. And that they see this as a phased project, that we might be going back to them for 2 or 3 times for funds to eventually get all of the town surveyed. But so that's what I think, unless anybody has feelings opposed to that. That was
Oh,
gonna be looking
did we
at.
talk about the combination?
Yes, that we're gonna do that area plus Frederick.
City Hall, City
Yep.
Park, and like,
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
And as long as we're staying around that 100 property number, it should fall within the grant amount that we'll be asking for. I just clarified with Erin, the treasurer, that the city will probably not request administrative costs or indirect costs or anything like that to be added to the proposal because it's just a smaller amount and that kind of muddies the water. So unless I hear otherwise, by the time that we submit the grant by the end of the month, we'll probably just ask for the. I'm in the process of writing that grant proposal. Annie has volunteered to proof it, so I'm gonna get her approved tomorrow, Wednesday. And then Michelle with CLG program wants to receive it at least 2 weeks before, so by the 15th. So that she can look it over, and if she sees anything that could be a red flag, we'll have a couple weeks to, at least correct those things before we submit it by the 30th. And if anybody else wants to see the draft, I am happy to get it to you. Just don't know if anybody would want to take the time to look at it. But let me know if you do, and we can take care of that.
Yeah, this is our chance to get the photos and the detail and the history and, the more in-depth stuff, so I think and having a combination, that's gonna be good.
And I think that what, gives us an advantage maybe in our grant request this round is that, we'll be doing this during the centennial year. So when we talk about how the goals of why we want to do the survey align with the Main Street program, with this, the city administrative staff wanting to gather more information about our assets, and part of the grant is to present the findings in 2 public meetings. So it'd be an opportunity for us to invite community members to learn more about it. It raises our visibility. It could be something we could put on the calendar of events for our centennial, that these things are happening. So I think timing wise and what we hope to do with the scope of work. So unless my writing really sucks, keep our fingers crossed, that we will get the funding and we can proceed next year. Any other questions or concerns about the CLG grant?
No, I'm really excited for that.
Looks good. Thank you for your work.
It's just nice that there are qualified consultants out there that do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And we'll have some great information that we can target education outreach
Yeah.
afterwards. All right, second item is the preservation brochure draft. And so thank you, Colleen, for getting us a digital copy so that we could review ahead of time. Yes, do want to remind everybody before we get into this conversation that Colleen took on this project of redesigning it, not to change content, that wasn't her intent, but just to come to a brochure that would be easy to read, find information, promote, inexpensive to print and distribute. So I think you nailed it. But probably have some questions on content and what goes where and colors and all that. And so I'll let you kind of lead the discussion. What would you like our feedback on?
I literally just copied and pasted the copy. I rearranged maybe where some things were just to kind of make it fit into a design layout or kind of flow in a way that I thought maybe people would be approaching it. So I think it would be cool if we could get a map of our historic district on there, but I wouldn't want it if it means that we would have to take other things out. I don't know that it we could probably downsize the photo to get a map on there, but I know, I was looking at that. I don't know what that little gas station icon is doing on that photo. So I'm gonna have to go back and look at that file. I don't know if it's on the photo file I have. I don't remember making gas station icon. And then
that, good catch, Alex.
Yeah, I saw that too. He's a good visual editor for me. But yeah, so I adore feedback.
So how will it look when it's folded?
Well, so right now it like flips upside down, right? But that isn't how it will be printed.
It's gonna be threefold.
Yeah, well, it'll be a two-fold with,
Twofold,
yeah, with
Three
three
sections.
sections. So
Yeah.
like, this would be the front, this would be the back,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then this is where it kind of gets a little bit tricky. So then this, let's see, hold on. This would be the front flap you would open out, and then you would open this.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, instead of duplicating the two paragraphs about the Historic Preservation Commission, there's one on the first column, and the same thing is written in the middle column on the first page, so maybe we could take this out, and if there's room for a map in there. And also, just a couple of punctuation things, like if you capitalize commissioners, you should capitalize commission. So those are duplicated. Washington State law, period. Let's see, and then also when the sentences get really long, if those could be broken up into bullet points, like with history, architecture, archaeology, have integrity, that could be another bullet. If younger has exceptional importance or falls into one of 11. So just bullet, 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 those are much more easy to read, faster to read, more accessible than a big block of text. And then also there's a double punctuation mark after Frederick Avenue on that front page. Website question mark, we probably want to put in the actual question mark or actual URL.
Website?
Website. You got one.
Question mark. Do you have one? And then on the second page, again with the September 1911 doesn't need a comma with space, so it's such a premium. Period should go inside quotation marks at the end of a sentence. The picture of the, I'm not sure about this. The two pictures, one is the Woodard House, of course, which is not in the historic district yet, but the house above it is in the historic district. So,
Yeah, I had just pulled those from the previous
so
brochure.
those are just placeholders.
No, I had pulled those from the previous brochure, I think.
Which
Within the wording though, should fit the, if we're encouraging people to qualify for special property tax valuation. And it does not have to be located. There's a lot of.
Do we want that section to be kind of more of a call to action, like
Yeah, I
get
think
your
so.
house on the register, maybe
On the
add a
local
little
register.
CTA above that?
and I like that they are smaller and that
Mhm.
they're not in the district. They don't have to be
Yeah,
in the district to be
Yeah.
on a local register,
Right,
which is something we want to emphasize.
yeah.
right. But if it's in the historic district, it also doesn't have to be on the local register, but it could be. So that's just saying that house kind of threw me as an example. So also in the special property tax valuation, those that could be broken up into bullets or shorter sentences. Because at this point, it's all like 185-word sentence. So just little things like that make it more reader accessible. Online doesn't have a hyphen, things like that.
That is correct.
There are two different dates when it's talking about, so on the front page it says Millwood, Washington since 1926. And then somewhere else it's got it's like the centennial celebration in 1928 became the first incorporated town in Spokane under
Oh
historical
yeah, in
context.
1928.
But I thought it was at
Yeah.
1927. So should we pick a date and stick with it?
It's
1927?
27.
And can I, it looks like you marked up yours really well. Would you mind if I either got a copy of that
You can have it.
or just have it? I'd appreciate that.
If you don't know what the marks are, you can just email me.
years of working for newspaper editors, I've gotten pretty good at interpreting editing marks, so hopefully I
That
will
was
be able
generally
to.
put out by Vicky, wasn't it?
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
somewhat.
Opportune time
That's
to
been
update the photo
changed.
of
Yeah.
Ray's house felt with ivy off of it and it being cleaned and painted.
Yeah, I know, I think that was a goal to get a new photo, but I did not get that goal complete. So if
Give it about a
you,
month, I'll cruise
if
by
you
there and
want
get it.
to complete that goal, we can
Yeah.
pitch a new photo that's more current. So the front should be 1927 as well, since 1927.
Yeah, let's just stick with 27. And then I know that there's a color which could just be on my copier.
Yeah, no,
That's, that it disappears.
Yeah, that
Oh, I
contrast,
said
so-
yeah.
contrast would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that whole color.
And then we could put a little QR code right next to that logo where it takes people to the website if we wanted to do that.
Good.
Mhm.
I feel like people are pretty QR code savvy post-pandemic.
Kidding. Just have to have the right
Under
app.
duress.
I know, I had to order food down here at the bar and I couldn't do it by hand, you had to use the barcode to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, forget that.
It's a whole learning process.
Especially after drinking.
I know.
My biggest pet peeve is when people put QR codes on emails. I'm like,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to?
Yeah, we're getting it, but we're slow.
But printed material, I
Yeah.
think, and printed material that isn't going to be up for many years, I think is a good place to have
Yeah.
QR codes.
Okay. So timeline for completion, do you have?
I could get those edits done by the next meeting, and then if if Commissioner Brandon is going to be wanting to get an updated photo to submit, and then we could submit that to the group. And so then if everyone approves off of those, we could probably get them, when is our next meeting?
Second Monday in
It's in July, on the July 4th weekend.
July
kind of.
13th?
Second Monday.
Oh, second, okay.
Let's see.
So I mean, I could probably get all that done by the next meeting, and if we all communicate via online, and it sounds good and everything, I could probably try to get it out to make sure that it's. I would like to get another print, cause again, that's where you find things like the contrast, it looks very different on the screen versus printed out. So it'd be nice to have another printed one just to look at and make sure it looks good and everything, so I'd probably wanna hold off on submitting it to print until our next meeting, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but
We could do
Everything
similar
else
to
can be done,
this,
yeah.
you know, if we can get a digital copy to include in the email packet that Bridget sends us, then we can look at it ahead of time and then maybe at the meeting we can,
Approve the final printed
and
version.
then
Yeah.
turn it over to the city to, cause they have to use their P card or whatever.
Okay, yeah, so then if it's just submitting the files or whatnot, yeah.
Awesome. And I guess if anybody sees any corrections in the meantime, you can just email Colleen or Bridget to forward it to Colleen. Since we're not supposed to be emailing each other. No, it's preferred to go through just for following public records. All right, awesome. Thank you. So next item is the historic streets, or the street signs for the historic district. I threw in this sample in the packet. This is not what we chose, but I wanted to have an example that I could share with the mayor and Bridget a couple weeks ago, just what we were thinking about, and the mayor thought that was a great idea. I left the copy with the mayor to share with the public works staff. I think they were meeting the next morning. I don't know if she was able to bring it up, what it would cost, or to put something like this, at least on Argonne.
So, that was brought forward to Kyle, Mr. Shiwi, and then, him and I were discussing if it possibly would need a sign permit. And so, we reached out to Amanda to see if that would be something that would require that. And so she found within the code that the historic markers and memorial plaques would be exempt from signs. However, the pictures that were supplied and maybe some of the ideas at the last meeting of potentially putting it below this normal street sign so that it was, I know you guys were speaking about being more visible for pedestrians walking through, seeing that it is a historic district. And so with that, she put it forward to the planning commission to see if it would require a sign permit. And they did approve that the signs as historic markers, which would be like the top part that you guys had presented. And so that was approved by the planning commission. However, if you are looking at doing like the lower parts within the walking, you might need to get confirmation from Kyle and then maybe Matt Gillis about the compliance for the clearance requirements within the street of how high it's supposed to be. So that was a discussion also.
Okay, so it sounds like as long as
The marker part, so the part on the
that goes on
top of
the
it
street
That
sign.
would just say
would be exempt and it's
Millwood
approved.
Historic
Okay.
District.
And then if we wanted to add additional signs, we would just need to make sure that those
You're within compliance within what street signs are supposed to be allowed. So that
So
would be
these would
another.
replace what's there already, like they're just the regular.
It wouldn't replace,
Would just
but
be added on.
it would be added on for what's already on the street. As the sign for the street.
So there would be the blue street sign,
And then you,
and then we would have
The
something
marker on top.
that's like Millwood Historic District, in whatever design color we want, as long as it fit on top of the blue street sign that existed.
cause
That
those
would-
are exempt, yeah.
Okay,
The
but if we
historic
wanted a brown one with that, then that would trigger
You'd have to make sure that you're within compliance of height and
everything else.
defer back to Kyle and make sure that he can verify with Matt Gillis with Moshcomer.
Okay. Sounds like maybe just another extra little hoop, but worth it to go through. I think it'd be great to have as much visibility as possible, especially going into our 100.
I think so too. You need that.
So I guess the first step, if we selected a design concept or what we would like to see, whether it's this or something like this or not this, and then just like, again, take it back and
Yeah, I would imagine they would probably wanna see exactly what it would be. So it sounds like we need to come to an agreement first as a group and then present that. So I had that, I don't have it on me, but I had presented those original ideas, and I don't know if anyone else wants to kind of bring ideas forward as well of like, oh, I saw this sign, or here's one that I found, and we can kind of take all of those into consideration and discuss at the next meeting.
Oh, wait, we already discussed it at that, when you had the great PowerPoint.
Did we, I don't
I
remember,
don't
did we
remember
decide?
this. And that's why I
It feels like so long.
That's why I pulled this one off, because
Yeah.
it's kind of like, I think this was similar to something that you had up there, but I
I'm
couldn't,
sure I have access to it in my email.
but,
Cause Ann didn't get to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
see
cause I
it,
think
but-
there were ones that we were like, no, we don't
Yeah.
want these, but I don't remember if there was one where we were all like, yes. And then we would be going through like a certified sign printer. So I would imagine that they would probably also be able to guide us on like street, like legal sign requirements.
and I think that's what the Public Works
Yeah.
Department, that if we
It's their
had
job.
the concept and said this is what we want, then they would have to look at it, and this is where we would want it, then they would have to look at it with all those things in mind now, not just, this. And say whether it fell within compliance or not. And then if it doesn't, then we'd kick it back to us to make adaptions to make sure that.
Cause those compliance, I mean, that's not like, is it city specific or is it compliance for the clearance for the specific street lamp post they're on, or is it just like state compliance?
I believe state.
Yeah, cause I'm guessing if we went through the Department of Transportation sign printing, that they would know what those regulations are, and so that they I'm sure they could help guide us on that as well. So that way when we are presenting something, we know that we have that initial approval. Let's see.
At least
I have
it wasn't like, no, heck no. We're not
The historic marker on the top of it was approved, so
Yeah.
it is exempt on there, so
So how big would that be?
I don't have the,
Okay,
I don't
Oh,
have
yeah,
the
I guess-
dimensions of it, but
like
take
small.
whatever the blue street sign is and then figure
Yeah, and I've
Something
seen
above that,
strip
okay.
on the top.
Yeah, and I've seen it done in different ways where there's like a little bit of like a
Swirly,
kind of like a
yeah.
oh sorry, thank you, I'm sorry.
Need to make some
I like the decorative top ones.
Yeah.
And they just kind of fit in a little channel and just sit right on top of the
Right.
existing
Mhm.
sign. So I'm wondering about
Who was
the,
the person before Bridget? Was that Kelsey?
Denise.
Roderick,
Kelsey? Okay, let me see if I
Kenzie.
Kenzie.
Kenzie,
Let me see if I emailed it to Kenzie.
And the last time I was just walking on Argonne and kind of looking over to see if there were street signs. I could see the big blue ones that are on the signals above the roads. But I don't remember seeing if they've been the kind of the small ones on the
Yeah.
street
Street sign.
posts lower on in that 3 or 4 block area, so. I mean, they could be there and I just didn't see them.
It's nice with a different color, it shows up, I mean, you notice the
Right,
difference.
and brown is kind of the traditional
Yeah,
historic or
Yeah.
historic area sign, so.
The brown, this part wasn't
I
approved.
did get details
As
on
far
that,
as you
so
know, it was
marker.
just that
Maybe
like
we'll
top
get-
strip that
asking.
says just.
it's worth asking, checking on.
Can we check on that?
Yeah, the color,
Yeah, the brown.
Yeah, if we just replace the
Historic
blue
brown.
signs with the brown with the topper in the same place that the blue street signs would be.
replacing the blue street signs altogether.
With the brown. I mean, it would still be the street sign, the same size, the shape, everything like that, but it would be a brown to designate the historic
designate.
district as opposed to the blue
Cause that's
that we currently.
that's like
The standard.
a state standard or even
Yeah.
a national, I think,
I can ask.
that the historic districts have blue sign or brown signs.
And again, for at least initially, we were just looking at the corners maybe of
For-
each of the 4 corners of the district or the ones just along Argonne.
And we're not asking for them to pay for it.
No, we
It
do
would come
have,
out of our budget, right?
but I know the mayor was trying to clarify like how much it would be or how much Public Works would charge our budget to do the installation.
Right.
So as well as fabricating the sign, that there would be a cost associated with them to put them up for us.
They do this in Brown's edition,
Yeah,
need to go down,
I don't know, gotta
drive
go
Brown's
look.
edition,
Yeah.
yeah, need to look again.
When I worked at, with the Historic Preservation Group in Montana, that was one of our big achievements, was to get the big brown H on the I-90
Oh, yeah.
sign, you know, say that this is a historic area, so pull in here.
Well, That's another
It was a
thing.
great day when that showed up. Of course, it was like one of the people on the committee was married to the person who made the sign, so that it was
that
a lot,
helped.
a lot more direct.
And if it gets too cost prohibitive to swap out the signs for brown, then, you know, just, yeah, finding something that's just maybe a little more ornate topper to the ones that are there, that would still have Millwood Historic District.
Yeah.
I'm not able to find that in my email right now, but I can, when I get back today, I can send it to Bridget and then have it sent out to the group so we can, and then if anyone else is able to go through the minutes and see if we actually did approve anything or if we were, I don't recall there being anything approved. I think there were, I do recall ones being like, no, I don't like that, or I don't like
Discussion.
having the map,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't. I think I feel like I vaguely like in my head, what I'm picturing is that like to connect it with like a circle or like some sort of shape, but then it was like gonna be strapped around was
Existing
like on the
pole.
Strapped around the post.
on an opposing side of the signs or flower hangers was kind of what we were looking or considering. And then we were just like, oh, we need to make sure the height clearance is okay so that nobody bonks their head on it. But I don't know that we had like made a decision as far as like the actual design of the
I don't think so either.
piece, so
Not that I recall.
yeah, I'm sure you would have lots of opinions there, so. I would, so I'll send that over today and then, in the meantime, leading up to our next meeting, if folks want to, kind of see what they can see as far as what designs that they like, what they can find online, and then I'm happy to do the print document setup. Fireplace, DMP signs.
Right. So Millwood Trail signage. Colleen, any updates?
No. I haven't touched the document since the time that we had it up here to present to everyone. And then I was walking along the signs along the path and just kind of like seeing how they're laid out and where, like, just seeing in situ where they are. And I would like to, because I want to make sure that this one kind of aligns with those ones as closely as possible. And then I can present by that July 13th. I'd like to have some design options that we can look at having. I think it'd be really neat to incorporate like some different elements, like maybe like a timeline element as the border, so you can have this kind of like almost like you're walking through time and like here's this sign, and like so that people know like, oh, there's other signs, and to connect them together. And so it almost makes it feel like, oh, we gotta go see the other sign, like let's make sure we see all the signs, just from the kind of an outreach and communications perspective to make sure that the signs are doing the most work that they can do in that regard. So I've been playing around with ideas and designs in my head and sketching them out, but I don't have anything to show. But I can definitely have something by the next meeting.
Okay.
My life got very busy at the beginning part of this year, and I'm excited that it's getting less busy, so yes.
Appreciate you, because a lot of these things you've taken on, so it's like.
I know, I feel bad, but my mental goal, my kind of internal goal is that to use the 100-year as kind of the input,
Yeah, we'll get it done by
Yeah,
then,
get her
or
done.
Yeah.
be part of the celebration is like, oh, we, you know, for our centennial, we're adding 3 new signs, we're designating our district, we're doing the survey, yeah. Cool. And then Alex, maybe you wanna take this one, the Main Street update. Do you have any updates for the Main Street program? Any
A
discussions?
little busy. We had a meeting up the street, a couple of weeks ago, so.
Well, yours are just that's just the committee. But if you wanna share the committee
So
updates.
as far as an update, right now, ideas are being formulated, so I think we've got a direction that we wanna go in. That's probably about as far as we've gotten so far. So, coming to an all-around agreement on this direction is probably the update, so.
It sounds like, the Main Street program, I think, is going to be, we're gonna call this a building year. And so, we have decided on a logo and branding. There is an initial draft of a website, but I don't think I can share it with you all yet because I think it needs to go through the group first and I don't want to step on toes. And then so that website would have a it has like the tagline that is kind of working right now is like meet me in Millwood, with the logo and a photo. And then it talks about the Main Street program and then it has a calendar of events. And, I think there was some concern from some local folks that, I think one of the things we could be aware of as the Historic Preservation Commission is going into this 100-year celebration, that there's gonna be various groups that want to do things and that we want to do things. And so the Main Street program is kind of like, I use the metaphor of like a fruit bowl holding all of those different fruits, but not like from like a governing like approval perspective, but just like a, hey, there's all these things going on and this is a way to connect them all. So there is a cleanup event this weekend that the Main Street program was gonna try to kind of piggyback off of or go into, and I think there's still that intention there with some of the businesses that are located in the space. But I think building trust in developing those relationships with kind of folks who have been here for a really long time and folks who have young families is probably gonna be one of the focuses for the next few months, I would estimate. Just with, I mean, there's people that have, so I just wanna make sure that it, like, that we're not over promising and under delivering. We did not get the T-Mobile grant. We did find that out. So that was not given to the group. The group actually might not know that. I know that because I got the email. Yeah, so there's a lot of, I think there's main focuses on getting the movies in the park, the summer movies back up. That's kind of like the main focus right now. And then there's a couple of celebratory things. I think there was real hope for kind of tying into the America 250 celebration. And also at the same time, there's so many things that are going on with that. Maybe it's okay if if the Main Street program isn't fully kind of vested at that point. I think it's very important that everyone is able to kind of share their thoughts and opinions and feelings and feel that they're being heard. And so I think some of the committees have only met a handful of times. The design committee had talked about like doing planters or awning, kind of talking about the facades of the buildings. I know you had mentioned maybe murals, and I think there's folks are really wanting to make sure that we don't paint brick, and that is we are fully on board for that. There is some cinder blocks potentially that could maybe be a location for something like that. So I think even just bringing up an idea of like, oh, what about a mural? I think there's so much to talk about just even in that own idea. So I don't want us to have unrealistic expectations of timing and how fast things
great, and I know just from working on our commission, how things take a while to move and.
Yeah.
But it's just great to have at least two voices that are history preservation aware on those planning committees, so that when things come up like, yeah, let's paint the side of bottles, you know, that it's just.
Oh, I think
it's just like,
I
no,
think
no,
I think
no.
there are many voices that
Yeah, yeah.
are very vocal against that. So I think it's making sure that we're all talking about the same things or thinking about the same things. So and also you know, we're the newcomers to the town. You know, we've only lived here for about 3 or 4 years now. So I think, you know, just continuing to build trust within the community with ourselves too, as community residents, commissioners, business owners, is something that we are still actively doing. So, yeah, I'm very thankful to everyone who has participated. I'm thankful to the people who have been coming. I'm thankful to the businesses. It's been really great to have everyone involved, and I see it becoming a really great thing. I would like to kind of make sure that what we're taking back to the group is what we're all aligned on. And so I think there was some kind of confusion in the last couple meetings that some folks maybe felt that the Historic Preservation Commission was going to be kind of spearheading the Centennial, and my what I communicated was that my understanding was that what I was understanding was that the hope was that the Main Street program would kind of be the spearheading group of making sure that all the fruits were all in the bowl. And so I just want to make sure that we're aligned on that. And I do think it would be great to, instead of just, because right now we're talking about, oh, there's going to be events throughout, like over the course of several months. I do think it would honestly be a great idea to kind of do a year of events, a year of celebrating our centennial, kind of culminating in like a final event weekend of some sort. But to kind of like, because there will be Millwood Days, and there will already be all of these other events that are happening that will be themed around the 100 years. Yeah, so kind of the idea was brought forward of like, oh, we could do something every month. And I kind of see, because Shereen had reached out about the cleanup event. And so my response to that was, I see this kind of as a kickoff and like the beginning of this year of getting ready for the centennial celebration. So from a marketing communications outreach perspective, it would be my perspective that kind of the more we can talk about like this is part of the 100-year celebration, and like the more we can I think we need a year-long runway to get to that point. But there's some really exciting things planned. We're talking about bringing back the town photo, the town portrait, which I'm very excited for. And we now have drone technology, so that sounds like it will be a little bit easier maybe to do. So we've got some connections there. Whistlepunk folk I think they had reached out to the city hall about what they need to do for getting the movies in the park going. And then the website needs to be shown to the group. So things are
Moving, which is
churning.
great.
So yeah, if there's anything that y'all want to make sure we bring back or communicate, and yeah. I would say the main concern probably also is financing, is finding fundraising to get this. So when I built the website, I also built in some merchandise with the logo that people. So one of the website that I'm using to build it on, and Spokane Stained Glass has sponsored the initial like kind of website fee, is Squarespace, and they have a connection through Printful, which is basically kind of a print on demand. So you don't have to keep like stock of a bunch of shirts.
T-shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
So free.
And then you don't have to find a spot to keep it, so they do take more up front. We do have to charge more in order to see that funding, and then we have to connect it to a bank account, so I think the group would need to be able to get that nonprofit status to have a bank account to do some fundraising. So I think there's a little bit of like cart before the horse situation, but I think that's kind of where some fundraising hope is gonna come from, is kind of like stickers and sweatshirts and tote bags.
A lot of it falls on voluntary efforts as well, so I mean,
Yeah.
funding can be sort of.
Yeah, I think there's a couple
Yes,
businesses, Spokane Stained Glass and Whistle Punk, I think are very invested and willing to put forward some financial power.
Investment.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm excited. Cautiously optimistic.
Good start. Good.
But yeah, I don't think we're gonna be getting planters in a pretty street by the end of this year. I think that's
This is, and I think any community you talk to that has initiated a Main Street program, they say the same thing. It's the start of a long process,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
the first 2 years are just finding partners.
Yep.
You know, groups and organizations and businesses and commissions and stuff to work together towards identified goals.
And since it is such a big partnership between business members and community members, I think the business members are the ones that are a little bit more, don't have as much time. So it's like, we want the businesses to be involved. We want it to go quickly, but if we want both of those things, one of those things is gonna have to give. And I think it's more important to have more business involvement than things kind of progressing at a faster pace, so. But yeah, I think things are going well. I'm excited about the logo. I think I can probably share that with the group since it's all been voted on. We held a special meeting for it. I like it because I designed it. And then the website is, it's millwoodmainstreet.org. Right now I have it password protected because it's $200 less expensive, but it just says password right here, so. So it's not hard to log in.
And while you're doing that, what time is the cleanup? Saturday morning? I mean, it says when the pizza party is at 1 o'clock, but
Let me look at it
when
really
is the
fast.
actual?
I remember the last time we did it, we got up to pretty early, 9 o'clock or so.
So the inspiration for this logo was there's the river, and then there's the building, and then the tree, and then the sun setting. So the colors are different based on if it's black and white or whatnot. So sometimes the sun is goldenrod, I would call the color, and in this one, because it's on a goldenrod background, the sun is white. So
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Good, yeah.
I don't know if you were at the meeting where they showed all the logos. They showed all the
No,
logos.
we were talking about they're gonna approve it, but we didn't see.
Well, you fixed the letters there.
Yes, I fixed the letters as well because there was a concern that the O's looked like A's. So they are now clearly O's. So yeah.
Awesome.
And then I think the hope is that the calendar that's posted on this is kind of, because the Millwood newsletter does such a great job of capturing all of those events in a print format, and so I think the hope is that this is kind of a digital place where anyone can submit events, so there will be a form that you can submit events. It's not gonna be like just the Main Street events, it'll be all of the events that are happening within Millwood.
Great. Thank you for the update.
I'm waiting on a
Oh,
response.
okay. So Commissioner comments.
I just had a question about the progress of Joseph's nomination. Cause he said he would come over on, it was like Monday a week ago, to pay us $50.
Yeah, so we've been short-staffed. One of the front desk was out on vacation, so we're processing that this week for him, so.
So where will it go from here?
So I have to review it and then I believe there's an attorney's signature part on it, so I was going to discuss with our council, we'll be here tomorrow night, so.
Good.
Yeah.
Does it have to go to the planning commission or city council?
No, it won't have to go to planning. I mean, the planner might have to do the staff report, or you will do the staff report and then sign off on it, and then it comes to us.
Oh, okay,
And then we schedule a public meeting, which could be right after our commissioner meeting, where we open it to the public, where we discuss,
great.
and then nominate and approve or send it back for any further work on it. So the nomination of the house that you guys worked on, we weren't able to waive the fee, but we told Joseph that if he brought it over here to process it, paid the fee, what we can do with our budget is, pay for the plaque. So if it's approved and put on the local register, then we can order a plaque that can be attached to the house.
Good.
That's all I was wondering.
It's been exciting to see, my kids have started pointing out the 100-year stickers around town when they see them.
Good.
Good.
So that's been,
Nice.
yeah, they have one too, Mom, so
So
that's been.
people are putting them up.
Mhm.
Great.
Scavenger hunt.
Yeah,
They can do
it really is kind of, yeah.
And every year, there could be more.
Yeah.
2 more years and I get one.
Yay. So my commissioner comment was just to remind people there was a cleanup event on Saturday, but I guess I haven't gone to the website to
Sunday?
see
On Sunday.
Sunday, what time or where to meet. So if you wanted to participate.
It's a good question.
And we have a PTO meeting at the Orchard Center Elementary today, right after this, so I will bring this
That's a good idea.
to the very involved young parents, or parents of young children. That love pizza parties.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that the Hutton Settlement, they do a great job with pizza. They have their own oven,
They do.
so
I don't have an update quite yet.
okay. But it would be on the website, the city's website? Or how do people find out how to, or is it just everybody clean up? And that could be too, I didn't know if it was gonna be, you meet at City Hall, you get gloves and sacks and,
You bring your
Told to
own
go
stuff.
Yeah.
or you just, everybody goes cleans up their area and then you come to celebrate the end.
Their street.
Good
I can
question.
get back to you on that one, yeah.
Okay. I know we've only done it once and we met at City Hall in the park.
The park,
And then for
right.
2 hours
They handed out bags,
and
Certain-
gloves and,
official bags, and then, and gloves. You had to bring your own gloves, I think.
okay,
Spokane Stained Glass could probably sponsor the gloves.
that's all right.
It's okay.
Because it's coming up, so we can,
We
people
could bring some
their own
gloves. Well, we could do that as part of the Main Street program, support effort of that, so.
If there was coordination. If there's no coordination, if the only coordination is the pizza, then yeah, clean up around your place and then come eat pizza. Any other comments or for our attention? Okay, if not, the next meeting would be Monday, July 13th. And is 2 o'clock, will that work?
We'll probably have 2 small members, city residents attending that meeting, as we'll be out of
That's all
school.
right. Always nice to have an audience.
I almost had one today who was very defiant that she was done with school and didn't need to. She's
When's the
like,
last day of school?
it's pretty late this year, it's I think the 17th,
Wow.
yeah, so this is the last full week and then next week is a half a week, yeah. So she's done now.
And rub rubbing it in. All right, with the meeting set, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move,
Second,
I motion to adjourn. Now you can second.
I second.
All approved?
Aye.
Aye.